Yeah, the reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person. It's because of me too, and I want y'all to realize that. Like, it's not just because of one person.
April 2nd, 2023. Angel Reese had just led LSU to their first ever national championship. She was at the top of her game, a breakout star who played with confidence, flair, and intensity. But behind all the highlights and celebration, there was tension. There were rivals she didn't just compete with,
she couldn't stand them.
Some of these players mocked her. Some tried to push her around. And some, they simply existed. And that was enough to spark a fire inside one of the most passionate athletes women's basketball has ever seen. One of them even triggered a viral moment that had everyone talking. Angel once told her teammates, "Don't let her get comfortable. I'm not here to make friends." These weren't just rivalries, these were personal. So who were the 7 players that earned Angel Reese's unfiltered dislike? From heated encounters to subtle shade, you're about to see the names that fueled her competitive fire and changed the face of women's basketball forever.
If there's one player who will forever get under Angel Reese's skin,
It's Caitlin Clark. Ever since that famous 2023 NCAA championship game between LSU and Iowa, these two have been locked in a rivalry that had the entire sports world buzzing. Reese wasn't just celebrating a win that night, she was rubbing it in Clark's face with the legendary John Cena "you can't see me" gesture and pointing straight to her brand new championship ring. Reese thought Clark had disrespected one of her LSU teammates, and as she put it, "I don't take disrespect lightly." The internet exploded after that. Some people called Reese unsportsmanlike, even though Clark had done similar taunts before. That double standard only made Reese hate the whole narrative more, even when Caitlin tried to play it cool and downplay the feud, saying they were competitive but respectful. Reese was vocal that this was personal. On the court, they traded hard fouls and harsh words. In their WNBA clashes too, the tension boiled over. Like when Caitlin committed a flagrant foul on Reese and cameras caught Reese shouting, "What the fuck is wrong with you?
you're crazy as fuck."
Sure, they might say they're just competitors and will probably end up on the same all-star team one day, but let's be real.
Reese loved making sure Caitlin knew she wasn't going to back down.
Even if they smile at each other off the court, every time they match up, it's personal, and Angel thrives on it. But if you thought Caitlin Clark was the only player who got under Angel Reese's skin,
think again.
because what happened next, with a completely different rival, would push Angel to a breaking point few had ever seen. And the way Reese responded, let's just say, it flipped the script on the entire season. You won't believe who did it, or how far it went. When it comes to Alyssa Thomas, Angel Reese definitely won't be putting her on any Christmas card list anytime soon. During a heated game in May 2024, Thomas grabbed Reese by the neck on a rebound and earned an F2 flagrant foul, which got her ejected immediately. To most people, that would look like crossing the line, and Reese felt exactly that. Even though she kept up her tough persona and publicly thanked Thomas afterward for sending a message, you could tell Reese didn't appreciate being physically manhandled. In her world, it's one thing to play hard. It's another to put someone in a chokehold mid-game. Ever since that game, Angel's been determined to give Thomas the cold shoulder. Even though Reese acted unfazed in interviews, you just know that kind of treatment fuels her fire. Every time she goes up against New York, she plays with a chip on her shoulder, making sure Thomas knows that Reese might forgive, but she sure as hell doesn't forget. That neck grab wasn't just a foul, it was a sign of disrespect in Reese's eyes. And for someone like Angel Reese, that's personal. Every box out, every rebound, every time she looks up and sees Alyssa Thomas on the other side, you can bet that incident is playing in the back of her mind, pushing her to make Thomas regret ever putting hands on her. Sabrina Ionescu might seem like one of the most respected guards in the league, but to Angel Reese, Sabrina is just another rival to keep on her radar. Things heated up between these two during an unrivaled 3-by-3 game when Reese was caught on mic saying,
"Sabrina can't fucking guard,"
right before she ran up the court. That one clip went absolutely viral. And although Sabrina brushed it off with a simple LOL, Reese wasn't joking. Coming into the pros with serious hype, Reese clearly had a point to make. And going after a top-tier star like Ionescu was her way of saying she's not scared of anyone. Ionescu might have laughed it off publicly, but you can bet Angel loved stirring the pot. Reese's trash talk was a reminder that she doesn't care who you are or what your resume looks like. If you're on the opposing team, you're fair game. That one fiery remark sparked media attention for days and built even more tension before their next matchup. Reese thrives on that energy. Every time she plays against New York, you can see her going extra hard, making sure Sabrina feels every screen, every rebound, every drive. Angel may smile in press conferences afterward, but don't be fooled. Deep down, she really loves proving her point against Sabrina and making sure everyone knows who can really lock down the court. Aaliyah Boston might be a fellow all-star and one of the most talented bigs in the game, but that doesn't mean Angel Reese is going to give her a pass, especially not after what happened during a fiery Fever vs. Sky matchup in May 2025. That game was already intense because of Caitlin Clark and Angel's ongoing rivalry, and when Boston tried to jump in and play peacemaker after a foul, Reese wasn't having it. Angel doesn't like anyone stepping into her battles. Both players ended up with technical fouls, and Boston found herself right in the middle of a storm she probably didn't intend to start. But for Angel, that intervention felt like an intrusion. Even though Aaliyah was trying to help, Reese clearly doesn't like people trying to calm her fire, and that moment probably earned Boston a permanent spot on her list of players she can't stand. On the court, Boston is strong, talented, and poised, everything that fuels Reese's competitive edge. Every time these two match up, you can feel the tension. Angel loves going directly at Boston, making sure she battles hard for every rebound. Boston might not be someone Reese hates forever, but every Sky Fever game feels like a personal proving ground for Angel to show Boston, Caitlin, and the world exactly who they're dealing with. Coaches don't usually make lists like this, unless they do something that truly rubs a player the wrong way. And Wes Moore did exactly that. Back in March 2025, during the NCAA tournament, Moore posed for a picture with a fan holding a sign that read, "Angel Reese stinks." That one image went viral and was all over sports media, and you can bet Reese took it personally. Sure enough, after LSU defeated NC State, Reese tweeted, "That win was personal."
Thank you.
This wasn't just your regular post-game jab, it was Angel putting Moore on notice. To Reese, that sign was a slap in the face, and Moore standing there smiling was like rubbing salt in the wound. Coaches are supposed to keep it professional, but this felt like disrespect. Even though Moore never fouled her or played against her directly, Reese took it as fuel to destroy NC State every chance she gets. Don't be fooled by Angel's sweet demeanor off the court. Inside, she carries that slight like a trophy. Every time she plays against Moore's team, that moment is in her head, motivating her to drop 20 and 10 and leave no doubt who the real star is. Even if Moore didn't mean to cause a firestorm, for Angel Reese, this one's personal forever. Angel Reese doesn't back down for anyone, and that absolutely includes Bria Hartley. On June 14th, 2025, during a tense physical game against the Connecticut Sun, things boiled over in a way nobody saw coming. The arena was already electric that night, every rebound and drive contested like it was the last play of a championship game.
Then it happened.
Hartley grabbed at Reese's hair in the middle of a rebound battle. In an instant, you could see the switch flip in Angel's eyes. That hair pull wasn't just rough basketball. To Reese, it was a deliberate sign of disrespect, almost like Hartley was daring her to do something. And Angel Reese? She wasn't going to let that slide. Within seconds, she was up in Hartley's face, jawing at her, hands up, her whole body tense like a coiled spring. Players and refs rushed in to separate them, but you could see on Angel's face that it wasn't going to be that easy to cool her off. Even after technical fouls were handed out and the crowd noise settled into a tense hum, Angel was still seething. Every trip up and down the court after that, she tracked Hartley like a hawk, making sure she was never too far away. You could feel the intensity crackling every time they crossed paths. Shoves were a little sharper, box outs a little harder, eye contact burning. Even when the final buzzer went off, Angel left the floor with a stare that could cut glass. That brief scuffle became something much bigger in her mind, a personal slight that she was going to remember. Hartley probably thought it was one of those heat-of-the-moment things that players just leave on the floor. But Angel? Absolutely not. Even though she kept it mostly low-key afterward, just tossing out a few pointed remarks and sharp glances when Hartley's name came up, it was obvious she had mentally circled that date on the schedule forever. Going forward, every Chicago Sky-Connecticut Sun matchup is going to have an extra edge for Angel Reese. Don't be surprised if you see her going even harder for every rebound, bodying up in the post, and giving Hartley an extra nudge, just enough to remind her that she hasn't forgotten June 14th, 2025 for a single second. And lastly, let's not forget Anastasia Boldareva, someone who probably never expected to land on Angel Reese's enemies list, but ended up there anyway. This one takes us back to a tense NCAA tournament game between LSU and Middle Tennessee State in March 2024. The game had been a grind from the opening tip-off, with bodies flying and whistles blowing left and right. By the time the fourth quarter rolled around, everyone on the floor was playing on edge, knowing every possession could make or break their tournament dreams. That's when Boldareva fouled out with under a minute left, and as she slowly trudged toward the bench, head down and frustrated, Reese saw an opportunity and took it. Angel caught her eye and gave a big, unmistakable goodbye wave, one that was as much a taunt as it was a celebration. Fans and commentators immediately picked up on it, calling Angel's gesture classless and unsportsmanlike. But if you know Angel Reese at all, you know this is exactly who she is as a competitor. To her, Boldareva wasn't just another player walking off the court. She was someone who had tried to go toe-to-toe with her and failed. Angel doesn't do fake friendliness in those kinds of moments. She lets you feel it. That clip of Reese waving goodbye went viral in a matter of minutes and was all over sports media, sparking debates about sportsmanship and where to draw the line. But for Angel, none of that noise matters. She plays to win, and she plays with an intensity that doesn't shut off just because someone else is upset. Even though Boldareva might never face Angel again on a big stage, that brief moment left a mark. Every foul, every shove, every little scuffle fuels Angel's fire. And Boldareva just became part of her story. Going forward, you can bet that if their paths ever cross again, whether it's on the court, in a handshake line, or even in some international tournament, Reese will make sure she remembers exactly who had the last laugh. It was just one wave, but to Angel Reese, it was a way of telling the world that if you come at her, you better be ready to deal with the consequences.